Hello and welcome to another installment of Techs Helping Techs. In this video we're going to do a 5-point POTS closeout test using the HST 3000. It's a rather simple procedure, but we do need to go in and set up some phone numbers for the central offices, and I'll quickly show you how that can be done. First off, you go to the auto test button, the two little gears, and select that. Now my meter doesn't have specific custom scripts built into it. If it did, you would see in this tab, instead of saying copper, it would say custom scripts, or scripts based on the corporation you work for. And then the copper would actually be the second tab right there, and you would launch from there. But in my case, I'm already here. We're going to do number 1, the POTS closeout test, so I can simply hit the number 1 or hit the OK button since I'm highlighted. So I'll hit the OK button. Once the application gets launched, now we need to go in and actually build a configuration for a CO that we're going to work out of. It's very simple to do. We're going to go to number 1 for new configuration, or hit OK. First thing that comes up is the 1004 milliwatt line. By default, JDSU has stuck the generic 5551212 in there. So you're going to have to change that. The simple way to do it, hit the clear button, it wipes out the screen, you type in the phone number of your CO. It does not need an area code if you're in the area code, obviously. I'm going to go in and make some changes to this so I can actually show you how this works, but I'm just going to put in a couple numbers here. Once you select your phone number, hit the OK button. Next thing comes up, the 5551212 comes up again. However, it's talking about the quiet termination. Some COs it's the same phone number, some it's not. Again, I'm going to just overtype it, put in a couple numbers, and then hit OK. You would actually put the right phone number in. Then it asks you if you need to edit any of the criteria. There's only one location that you may need to make some changes based on what your corporation actually runs and accepts as a loss level. And number 2, under narrowband loss, I can either hit number 2 or scroll down to it. In this case, I'll scroll down to it and then hit OK. JDSU has it set up for -9 dB. Some corporations allow -8, some are 8.5 or 9. In this case, since I work for Mega Telecom and ours is set for 8.5, I need to go in and make a change here. Rather simple. Hit the OK button. You'll see that I've got the hyphen or -9. I need to change this to a -8.5. There's a couple ways to do this. If I want to save the hyphen mark, I simply hit the right arrow key once, and number 9 is highlighted, and then I can type in the number 8. And to get a dot or a period, you hit the asterisk key. So now I have 8 dot, and then I want 5. And then I hit OK. What I need to do at that point is change the loss. So anything above 8.5 will be a failure. So I can go to number 2. So I'll just simply hit number 2 here. And the -9 is there. Now if you make the mistake by hitting the clear button, which I often do quite a bit, it's gone. Well, how do you get the negative or the hyphen mark to show up? Simple. It's the pound key or the hash key. There it is. Now I go to 8. I need a period or a dot. So that's the asterisk. And then 5. So now I've got 8.5 built in, and then I hit OK. So there's my pass and fail. Anything below 8.5 passes, anything above 8.5 will fail. Now we're going to go to option number 3 to the previous menu. The power influence is the standard, anything over 80 dB in noise, and the circuit is anything over 20 dB. And then you've got your balance. Let's go into the balance and show you what we have there. This is actually for longitudinal balance. It's not actually the balance between noise and power. The pass is 60, the fail is 50. And again, this is for POTS and not for broadband, so we're going to leave it alone. And you simply go to number 3, the previous menu. Then it's going to ask you at that point, what do you want to do? And we have to scroll down, so hit the down arrow key to get to continue. So we'll hit OK. The next thing it shows is what test you want to run. Well, it's a 5-point test, so we want all 5 points actually bulleted here or check marked. You simply would hit the accept button, and then it will launch the application. Okay, so at this point here, we'll hit accept. It's going to ask me what I want to do with this file. Well, you want to save it because it's actually, if you keep going back to the same CO, you'll have it in your list. So I'm going to go ahead and tell it to save to file, and I'll hit OK. Basically, at this point, you will name it. It takes up to 20 characters. However, you cannot put spaces in here. So I'm just going to put something in real quick. Doesn't really matter what it is. I'm just going to call mine POTS for now, but I would call it the CO that I actually would work in, and hit OK. Once you do that, it will actually start the test. If your speaker's turned up on your HST, you should be able to hear it draw dial tone after it runs its circuit test, or circuit voltage, excuse me, current. It's pretty standard with the HST. You get the little circle. If you get a check mark, it means it passed the built-in parameters for the specs. If you get an X, it means it failed that test. And you should hear this thing draw dial tone. There's my dial tone. So after it calls the milliwatt line, it will terminate or hang up, and then it's now going to call into the quiet termination line. And it will run a power influence test and also check for any metallic noise. And there you have it. It ran the complete 5-point test. I get all check marks, so I know my parameters have been met and it's a good circuit. If you need to take a look at the details and find what the numbers actually are, you go to the purple soft key right there. And at that point, it will show you what your current is. This is a pretty hot signal because I'm right across the street from the central office. My 1004, I have no loss. My power influence was a 61. My noise was a 9. If you notice the number here, it shows me my balance, longitudinal balance. So you have to do the math yourself. 61 minus 9 would give you what your actual balance is. For some reason, JDSU is showing us what the longitudinal balance is, which is actually a good thing too. All right, so once I have that information, I can either jot it down if I hit OK. If I want to go down and continue, I hit the X, or the check mark, and then if I need to, I can actually save these results. If I want to look at them later or show them to somebody without writing them down, you simply hit Save Results. You would name it via the phone number, the customer's address, whatever you want to call it, your trouble ticket, and then you would hit OK, and it would save the results. In a later video, we'll go back and show you how to actually look at some of your test results. All right, so at that point, you can run another test. We're going to do an exit without save. It asks me if I want to run the test again. I do not. We go down to number 2. Hit OK. And it brings us back to the POTS closeout test. So what you're going to want to do is build up your phone number list. To do that, we'll go back into number 1 again. Hit OK here. And what you're going to see here is I actually have the one I built in. So if I'm back in that same central office, I simply go to number 2, launch the test. It knows the phone number to contact for the milliwatt and the quiet, and you're good to go. What you're going to need to do is build a list. So you go back in a new config and start the process all over again, and then build your phone number list for whatever COs that you normally work in, and then you're good to go. All right, so that concludes this video. Thanks for joining, and we'll have many more coming up in the future.